Hey everybody, and welcome to my first YouTube video ever, and today we're going to look at and talk about this Kershaw Compound. But before I do that, I want to talk about the environment I'm filming this in and apologize for the quality. I'm actually making this video deployed downrange in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. I'm an active duty military guy. I started 8 years in the Army, completed that, switched over to the Air Force. No, not a pilot, don't fly planes. I'm still a grunt, I'm still a ground pounder. I'm actually assigned to an Air Force ground-based field deployable unit, and believe it or not, the Air Force has quite a few of those out here, actually serving alongside Army, Marines, Navy personnel in support of the war effort, doing various things. So I have a lot of experience actually in the field, on the ground, with knives, weapons, things like that. And I do believe that a knife is an incredibly useful tool. It's not just a weapon you carry around. It's a tool. It has its uses. You treat it right, you take care of it, and it takes care of you. So with that being said, like I said, this is a Kershaw Compound that I picked up one day, and in order to pass some time out here constructively and to see what I can do with it, I'd like to replace the scales that come on this with some custom G10. This knife I picked up because mainly I saw it online and it was cheap. And not that I'm a big fan of cheap knives, actually quite the opposite, but what I carry out here normally, day to day, it's a Benchmade 810 Contigo, kind of one of the relatively newer models they have out here. I saw this online and I fell in love with it and I had to get it, and I'm thrilled with it. It's a really big knife. It's got some weight to it. It's made of really great steel. It's a CPM M4. Incredibly useful. I know this camera's not great and you can't really see the scratches, but I've taken this out with me quite a bit and put it through its paces a little bit. And it's a really good knife, but it's also $150 knife, more without a military discount on it. So there's that. As a backup, I usually carry this Spyderco Delica 4, which was not as expensive. I picked this up on base at the BX. Never been really a fan of Spyderco, but I've heard great things about it. I've seen a lot of reviews about them online. People say a lot of things. So I saw this and I picked it up, and actually this has made me a believer. I'm a convert. I'm a huge Spyderco fan now just from this one model alone. The weight on it is great, especially as a backup to something like this. The size is really good. You can use this as an EDC as well as out in the field. The blade is fantastic, and in fact I'm so impressed by the Delica here that I went ahead and I ordered a Resilience and an Endura 4 just so I can test them out and see how they run. Slightly bigger and beefier model of the Spyderco, but still not a cheap knife. Definitely not something under $30 or $40. So there's that. Actually, this is one I've been issued. This is the Nitrous Striker. Been issued 2 of these in my career and 1 automatic striker. D2 steel, so again, higher end stuff. Really good. The spring assist system is awesome. I love it. And again, if you can kind of see, this thing gets used a lot. And I've carried this 2-3 years out in the field with me. This is actually the blade of the one I was issued prior, and yes, the blade is the only thing that's left, and you can kind of see why. I think I first carried this through Iraq in 2005, and then other deployments after that. But again, it held up. It's not in the best shape, but it's great. Once again, suffers from being a pretty expensive knife, and I was very upset when this one died before I could get my hands on another one. This is a Columbia River, one of the M16 models. This was a Tanto blade when I started, and I didn't like it, so through excessive, crazy, obsessive sharpening, I turned it into kind of a drop point. Cheaper than the others, but still, you buy this on base, you're looking at somewhere between $50, $60. The one with the actual aluminum handles and the titanium stuff, that's even more. That's about $100, so have that as an option. And then finally, one that I picked up myself, wasn't issued or anything, my Benchmade Rift. When I saw this online, I loved it. I love the shape, I love the design and everything. The only one they had in stock at the time was this, which I know is not the most tactical model. It's got the satin finish blade, no serrations. I was actually really surprised at this, because they market this as a black class, which, if you know Benchmade, it's supposed to be the tactical, rugged use law enforcement type series they have. Well, this thing has no good grip on it, no jimping. It's very light. I mean, it's good. It's 154 cm steel. It's a really good knife. I really like the knife. Just I've never been happy with the grip, with the handle. But you see, this is what I normally am going to carry around when I'm at work. What if one of these things gets destroyed? I'm constantly letting some of the younger troops borrow knives and stuff if they don't have one, and I have had some really expensive knives lost and destroyed. So when I see something like this online, and it's a decent quality. Kershaw's a good quality brand as far as I'm concerned. Not the best, but I think I saw this on Woot.com, and with shipping from store to front door, I'm going to guarantee no more than $15. It was probably more like $12. It has the SpeedSafe spring assist, which I love. It's got a good solid sound, and who doesn't like to hear something like that when they're opening their knife? It locks up great. It's very strong. It's a liner lock, and I know some people take their issues with liner locks. I don't have a problem with it. I've never had a liner lock fail on me, and I don't expect this to be the first one by any means. It's really good. Pocket clip lets it ride nice and deep in a pocket, so it's not going to fall out. You're not going to lose it. It's the 813 MOV steel, so not the highest end stuff, but as soon as I got this, I ran my Lansky system over it and gave it a really good angle on the blade, and then have just kept it up with some hand sharpening now and then, and I wish I had a better camera again, because really the blade is fantastic on this. The edge is awesome, especially for a $12 knife. And just to do the old test everybody does, I mean, fantastic blade. So I carry this one around as a cheap alternative, use it for just general utility purposes, use it for some food type prep and stuff when I'm out there if I want. Plus, you know, aesthetically, it looks pretty cool. It's curvy, it's a different kind of shape, it looks great. My big complaint, the one thing I can't stand, is these scales. It was marketed as glass-filled nylon, which sounds pretty impressive. I actually saw a review online where somebody incorrectly said that these were glass-filled nylon, which was the same thing as G10. These are just plastic. They don't give you a lot of traction. There's not a very good pattern on it. The handle shape allows you to get a really good grip on it, but these leave a lot to be desired. So, being out here, watching a lot of videos, seeing a lot of the custom work that's gone on, I figured I'd give it a shot, because the worst thing that happens is $12 down the drain. You can get another one of these pretty easy. So I ordered some G10 scales from USA Knife Makers, I think, or Knife Kits, can't remember which one. I figured something like this with a slightly exotic look might look good in the jade green. So I got the jade green scales. And this is going to be my first time project making scales and really doing any kind of custom modification on a knife. So the reason I'm making the video is because when it's all said and done, I'd really love some comments, advice. If you think it sucks, tell me it sucks. If you think it's good, tell me it's good. If you've got better words for me on how I can do this next time, you know, please by all means, because if this works out successfully, the next thing I want to do is take this Rift and take these scales, and I also bought some, if you can tell, it's black and blue stacked G10, and I'd like to do something, since this is really, you know, more of a personal, not so much field knife, just make it a little bit different. Otherwise I do it more tactically than the blue. I'd like to see what I can do on this. This is going to be a little bit more complicated because of the axis system, I know that, but I'm going to start with this. It's got a backspacer here that I may or may not replace with the G10. I might just leave it in there depending on how complicated that is. I don't think it'll be that much. And if you look at the blade shape on a piece of G10, I should have plenty of extra here to cut that out of. I'm going to stop real quick and actually break this down and do a real quick video of what's inside to look at the work that I think I'm going to have to do to pull this off, and then wrap up this segment real quick again in a second. Hey, here's just a quick view of the inside of these scales. Like I said, it's nothing but just some cheap plastic, not very sturdy or anything at all. This is going to be a little bit of a challenge right here to get that cutout shape there, and that's for the SpeedSafe spring, which is kind of a different shape, different kind of spring system that I've seen. They came loaded with grease. I didn't do that. That's the way Kershaw sent it, but it keeps it running smooth, so I'll find some way to substitute for that. But just wanted real quick to show you what's going on the inside. On this side, the right side, I don't think I need to duplicate any of these cutouts or anything. I think they just do that to save money with less plastic and everything. I will have to be very careful to cut out this area, though, on the left side to make sure that the SpeedSafe spring system still works, so that'll be kind of fun, too. And here's just the internal pieces of this thing. It's not very complicated. Good design, pretty simple. And then again, the backspacer, haven't decided yet if I'm going to G10 that or just put that back in. But just wanted to show that. Okay, so that's what's going on inside with this. It doesn't seem like it's something that's too hard for me to do. Again, seen a lot of reviews, a lot of instructional and just educational videos online of guys, super talented artists that do this custom G10 work, and I don't begin to presume that I'm going to do work like they do. Not by any means. Again, this is just a test run to see how it works, and again, with a knife like this, if I screw it all up, I'm not too heartbroken. much better tested on this than something like this that I'm really going to be upset about if I lose it. But if it works out well, I might continue to do some custom work on some of my own knives, and see what I can do. Overall, the goal is to give this a kind of a nicer look, something that's a little unique, a little different. If I can get a grip on it or some texturing that's a little bit more tactical, even though I know this is not the most tactical color, but if it gives me a better purchase on this handle and everything, because I have had this out in the rain, in wet conditions in the field. The blade is great. Never had any corrosion on the blade, but the handles get a little bit slippery, a little bit hard to hold on to. So we'll see how it all works out. And again, when it's all said and done, I appreciate your comments, and I am not afraid to hear, hey, your work sucks, that's a piece of crap, because the best way to learn is to make mistakes, be called out on it, and get them fixed. But again, I'd love the constructive comments about how I might be able to do it better, or what looks good or what doesn't, or anything you have for me like that. So appreciate you watching. The next time you see this knife, hopefully it will have these scales on it, and I'll see you then.